Warren Buffett is constantly listed as one of the world's richest people, with an estimated net worth of nearly $100 billion. But unlike his good pal Bill Gates, Buffett doesn't live in a sprawling $100 million lakeside home. Even those of us whose personal fortunes will never reach $1 billion, much less $100 billion, can take a few lessons from Buffett's relatively frugal lifestyle. In this video, we will give you some valuable advice from the Oracle of Omaha about calculating money habits. Number 1. Buy a modest home. Buffett and his late first wife Susan bought their Omaha home in 1958 for $31,500. It's not tiny, there are 5 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, but he didn't replace it with a mega mansion once the money started rolling in. For Buffett, Omaha and the relatively modest house he chose back in the 1950s have always been home sweet home. Number 2. Don't smoke or drink. Both smoking and drinking require steady outlays of cash, and neither is healthy for you, which could mean increased medical bills down the road. Buffett has never smoked or drunk alcohol, and he's still with us at 91. Number 3. Don't gamble. What's that saying about gambling? The house always wins. Buffett knows this, and he said that gambling is a tax on ignorance. He once bought a slot machine for his home and paid his kids their allowance in dimes, knowing they couldn't resist the lure of the slots and he'd have their allowance all back that same day. They learned what Buffett, and smart investors, already know: gambling doesn't pay. Number 4. Don't upgrade possessions unless you have to. Buffett famously used a Nokia flip phone for years, although he's since moved on to an iPhone. But his phone ownership history reveals a truth. Buffett's not all about paying big money for the latest and greatest tech. "I don't throw anything away until I've had it 20 or 25 years, Buffett told Piers Morgan in 2013. Number 5. Forget fancy food. Buffett could eat gold-plated lobster for every meal, even though that sounds horrible. But his eating habits are modest. "I don't like a $100 meal as well as a hamburger from McDonald's," Buffett told People magazine in 2017. His daughter told People that Buffett regularly treats his grandchildren and great-grandchildren to monthly lunches, but not at 5-star steakhouses. They go to a Dairy Queen. Number 6. Don't waste money on a lavish wedding. It's easy for an engaged couple to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars on a fancy wedding. That's not for Buffett. When he and his second wife, Astrid Menks, wed in 2006, it was in a brief civil ceremony at Buffett's daughter's house. The ceremony took 15 minutes, followed by dinner at a casual seafood restaurant. The New York Times reported, Buffett's daughter helped her dad pick out his new wife's ring at an Omaha jewelry store owned by Berkshire Hathaway. Asked if Buffett received the employee discount on the purchase, his daughter told the Times, "I'm sure he did." Number 7. Drive the same car for years. It's not that Buffett drives the cheapest set of wheels, mind you. In 2014, he spoke to Forbes about his choice of a Cadillac XTS luxury sedan. But he doesn't change his car as often as someone with his bank account certainly could. Buffett admitted he's seldom in the market for a new vehicle, saying, "The truth is, I only drive about 3,500 miles a year, so I'll buy a new car very infrequently." Number 8. Give from the heart. Buffett could lavish his pals with pricey gifts, but he chooses to deliver gifts of time, not money. His billionaire pal Bill Gates wrote on his blog, Gates notes, that Buffett is the kind of friend everyone wishes they could be, and his gestures are thoughtful and inexpensive, picking Gates up at the Omaha airport personally, sending him articles he knows will be of interest, and just picking up the phone to call and chat. Number 9. Realize the danger of too much stuff. Too often, a vast collection of possessions ends up possessing its owner, Buffett said in his giving pledge, in which he promised to donate more than 99% of his wealth to philanthropic causes. You won't find Buffett obsessing over enormous collections of homes or cars, though he surely could. "The asset I most value, aside from health, is interesting, diverse, and long-standing friends," he said. Number 10. Forget fancy clothing. Buffett owns close to 20 business suits, but it's not because he's a clothes horse. He told CNBC that he once met a businesswoman in China, Madame Lee, who measured him for a single suit and has sent him new ones ever since. Buffett says that were it not for Madame Lee, he'd probably own fewer than 5 suits, and they'd likely be more than 10 years old. For most of us, billionaire status is out of reach. But that's not the point. If you are letting your entire income slip through your hands in discretionary spending and unnecessary expenses, you're as far from future wealth as anyone can be. If you want even more of these useful videos, then watch these videos, or even better go to the channel page to see all our videos and playlists on how to save money and increase your income.